I noticed when I re-downloaded it for a week that the content people post, I just really don't care about.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
stories, it's like I remember I used to go through all the stories that people would post, but I just started going through them again, and I just thought, not only do I don't care, but it's just not interesting. It's just
Yeah.
like, why am I wasting my time with this? And I also looked at the posts people were uploading, and I thought, I don't care. Welcome to We Need to Talk, where we try to figure out how to find fulfillment in life and reduce dissatisfaction. Listen to this full episode if you'd like to hear how getting enough sleep is a catalyst for experiencing positive emotions in life, especially during one's adolescent years. We also discuss the pernicious nature of Instagram and how a lot of the content on the platform is frivolous, and one feels the pressure to like each other's content, which is just unhealthy in a lot of ways. And Instagram also induces a kind of dissociation, which is quite pathological. But we don't leave it at that. We also try to discuss how one can use Instagram in a healthy way that enables one to secure the authority over the platform instead of the platform having authority over you. So enjoy the episode and don't forget to subscribe. Let's go. Welcome everybody to We Need to Talk. This channel is dedicated to trying to figure out how to find fulfillment in life and reduce dissatisfaction. My name's Henry, the host of this channel, and we're today joined with Matthias. Matthias, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and say anything you think is important for the listener to know?
Absolutely. So I'm Matthias. I'm 21. I'm a student of liberal arts, and I'll be completing my studies this summer. Um, Anything for the listener, just open your ears and open your intellect.
Awesome. Dope. Cool. So, by the way, Matthias and I went to high school together. That's how we know each other. And
Exactly. Oh,
yeah, so I thought we should record an episode. The first question is, if you could go back to your 16-year-old self, what would you tell yourself? We'll start off with that.
Well, first of all, I would say you're a mess. No, really. uh, Jokes aside, um, I think it's the first thing, thinking about this question is thinking of essentials such as just, for instance, just go to bed on time. Like, this eternal cycle of like, sleep deprivation. We all need lots of sleep in our years, in our younger years, especially, like until we're 20, 25. And just simply that, like go into bed on time. Like that's like something that we always dragged out with, social media, with, video games, with whatever, just tons of distractions. And it's like it's distracting you from sleep, which is like one of the most important, if not the most important thing that we have like in life. Like it helps us process, it helps us regenerate, it helps us like, you know, um, wake up to a new day and have the old day kind of stuck away. So that's really the first thing I'd say. Just get to bed in time. Like it's not the whole, mom calling, go to bed. Like that's not a joke. It's it's quite serious actually, and has like lasting effects. Like I feel like if I would have just slept more, kind of would maybe be a different person. Like I mean, that sounds a little too big, but I think there's a lot connected to that.
How do you think it
Getting enough
affected you
sleep.
back then, the little amount of sleep?
Yeah, so well, definitely. So like the first sort of obvious one is just like um you can't handle you're like very irritable, right? Like whether it's at home, like in the morning, right? Like first discussion at home, boom, okay, started the day off the wrong foot. Then you go to the train, something pisses you off or something, then right? Like you start the day kind of in negative terms, negative energy, right? Like everything is annoying, all that. And then in class as well, like, it's the whole class is boring, not engaging, instead, like also engaging and just fooling around with classmates and stuff, right? So you have this like array of things which go from like time wasting to negative interactions. And that just like creates a circle. Now, of course, it's not like the whole day is like that, but I feel like sleeping, not getting to bed in time sort of starts your day on the wrong foot because you started your night on the wrong foot. You see what I mean? Like you kind of didn't get into bed on time. Um,
Hmm.
Now I don't necessarily mean an hour. Like I feel like everyone should figure out, how much sleep they need and like when they get to bed. I really feel like what I mean is like if you can go to bed right now and you're tired, why, not go to bed? Like why extend it? Why drag out the night? All that. It's like if you have something to do, like, we had elections. Okay. You want to stay up for elections? All right, good. Like stay up for US elections. Like that's fine. That's a one-off. Like that's a reason. But if you're just gonna play, whatever the heck, FIFA or whatever until 2 a.m. and then you're gonna be tired, like stressed and like annoyed the next day and be very unproductive, then that's just like a waste of time. And I feel like so many of those days, like the days where you were just irritable and bored and stuff like that, all that like amounts to just a lot of like it even creates more stress that you would need more sleep to process and stuff like that, but you just keep on turning the wheel. So that's my first thing. Just get into bed, 16-year-old. That's really the 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 first thing. But I don't know if you feel like what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
I do get the importance of sleep. I completely resonate with it. I think it's not in some sense underrated, but it's not discussed often enough how
Yeah,
fundamentally important it is. And
absolutely.
I mean, I was personally lucky because I'm just hyper. I mean, in some sense, lucky and unlucky because I'm hypersensitive. So if I wouldn't go to bed on time, I would
Hmm.
wake up the next day with this heaviness on my whole body, and I just feel like I would just wake up feeling and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's with only 1 hour less sleep. So I just had to force myself to go to bed, and I sleep. I need at least 8 to 9 hours every night, or else I'm not good the next day. So, but definitely sleep is. I feel ill kind of the next day if I don't get sleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I,
No, this is something we don't really take into account, man. Like yeah. And I feel like that's what you just said, forcing yourself. That's really, what they call sleep hygiene, right? Like really saying, okay, all right, it's 10 o'clock, like I'm going to sleep. Like if I'm not tired, I'm gonna read. And then I'll make myself tired and then go to sleep. Like that's sort of the thing. But for me at least, the routine was, get to the sleep of get to the stage of being tired, then instead of like sleeping or slowly kind of winding down, it was like no, but I got this game and I got this going on and this, right? Like you just continue. So let's go ahead and like talk about that because that's sort of like the next thing that was on my mind when you asked me this. Things that keep you away from sleep, right? Like those things that in and of themselves I would say like really minimize or avoid them, like social media and technology, like minimalism. Like that's what I believe now. That's not what I did back then. That's what I believe now, right? Like really try to uh keep the social media to like to an extent that you control it and it doesn't control you. And also, yeah, just some social media you just don't need to get. Like it's really just a waste of time. Like Snapchat and all these things like that all messes, like talking about healthy things, right? Like that's this whole like basing our even our like neurological reward system on like likes and like 10-second images of this and that, and it's like you're just sharing 10 seconds with everyone but not your whole life with anyone, right? Like it's just this like, and it even like makes you into this like split person because like one person just sees all your food, the other person just sees like that, so it's really not good. So I definitely say like don't waste your time with social media. And if you do, or if you do have social media, then at least say like, all right, okay, Facebook is really to keep the people that I know and have met in one place, and I check in from time to time like an email, you know and I sort of check what's going on. And like I think Instagram is a dangerous one because it's like it's really that's dangerous. But I don't know. How do you feel about that? Because that's sort of like what I would say.
yes, I definitely think, although I feel like when I mean, I was, I think, a year older than you, back then I feel like Instagram was not as pernicious as it is today.
Oh
I
yeah.
definitely feel
Oh
it
yeah.
got it's a lot worse today.
Yeah.
Did about 1.5, no, almost 2 years ago. So I've kind of lost contact to what it actually felt like. However, I
Mm,
do know if I had it today and I was 16, I think I would experience significantly more negative emotions on a day-to-day basis. Like, seriously.
mm,
I mean, I re-downloaded it for about a week in the summer, I think. And I noticed when I closed the app, you sort of come back to this gray world. It feels like you look around, you're like, this sucks, kind of. You're on this app and you see everything that's sort of hyper stimulating and colorful, and you
yeah,
come
yeah,
back
yeah.
to your life and you think, my life sucks. And if you do that frequently throughout the day, every day, across years, I think your mind suffers significantly from that. That's so dangerous.
No, it's absolutely dangerous. Like it's poisonous. I mean, yeah, everything that you see there is there because it's like it's framed, it's intended to look perfect, right? Like even the way people like take pictures, right? And I'm not gonna say I haven't done that, right? Like I'm not gonna be like pointing fingers. Like I'm speaking of like myself as the first one who fell into that stuff, right? So, but all these things, like all these like hand selected quotes that you put on your pictures, like all these things, it's like that's all noise. It's not real, right? And then when you come back to reality, you're like, oh, it sucks, but it actually doesn't. It's just that you've created this like illusion or bought into this illusion that, all the food is perfect, all the girls are perfect, all the quotes are perfect, all the pictures are perfect. Like, right, it's just not how life is.
Hmm.
But that's what Instagram has taught you. And
I
also
thought,
like, oh, I didn't
yeah.
get likes, right? Like,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
but I think you can, like, all of that. I don't know if you've studied this in terms of psychology or anything, but I feel like Instagram triggers a kind of dissociation within you.
yeah,
Your mind starts to live in a world, or think the thoughts that are not stemming from reality or from your life.
absolutely.
And that's, your body is hypersensitive to that. It will, I think, communicate that to you with symptoms of some kind of suffering. Not only
Yeah, yeah,
will
yeah,
it communicate that to you, yeah, but you'll also, obviously, I mean, I think that feeling of dissatisfaction and like disappointment or anxiety, depression, that is a symptom of your body telling you, like, your mind is in a place where it's not meant to be.
yeah. For sure, for sure. It's like totally dissociated from the real and like what is actually real and not what you see to be real or what Instagram shows you or stuff like that.
Mm.
But it's just, yeah, I feel like if you really think about it, even people that have like a very hyped sort of like very well put together like Instagram page and that them personally, it's strange because if you really think about it, when you know them as a person, like that's not them on Instagram. Like it rarely occurs that they're as fake as they sell themselves to be, but they still do. Like that's the crazy part because like I'm thinking of our classmates and stuff, like all these people who had like, I mean, granted, I had an Instagram account that was quite big too, but they had like, thousands of followers, like just quite big. But when you talk to them, it's like it's all cool, it's okay, like you know them, like this is Max. But then, him on Instagram, it's like, whoa, like who is that? Like that's not him, or at least that's like what he wants people to believe he is, but or who he wants people to believe he is, but that's not really
Mm.
him. And
Mm.
that happens with myself, like it happened with myself as well, right? Like you put out an image
Mm-hmm.
that's not really you, and then people get to know you by that, and
Mm.
it's not healthy.
And
It's not
do
healthy.
you still have Instagram?
I do, I do.
Okay.
So um, what I've done is what sort of my policy. I have Instagram, but the first thing I did, sort of like in just thinking about how I was going to keep it, and if at all, I went ahead and like deleted from my followers list everyone that I've never met, like in person, whether it's a 5 second interaction, whether it's a classmate, whatever. But I was like, okay, that's at least my minimum. It's like, have I seen these people? Like have I seen them? Right? Like, are they real? So that's the first thing that I did. Then I went ahead and like archived all my posts and stopped posting. And just I didn't. I was like, I'm not gonna like hunt. Like I don't like that's enough. And I was like, I'll just keep it to like check in, like maybe I don't know right now, maybe 1 or 2 times a week into that account, and just really for messages that I got or something like that, but really not that frequent.
Mm.
Um, and then I created another account, that's sort of separate and like very not associated with all the followers and followings I had on the other. And there I really just follow people that I truly care about. Um, and it's something that I also filter a lot. And yeah, in fact, right now it's it's only my girlfriend and her art account that I follow. So that's sort of how I keep it very very special, very purposeful, and very just yeah disconnected from the toxic sort of
Mm.
rampant like 1,000 million posts by people. And then
Mm.
I have a third account for my tennis because I actually just finished my license for that.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, that's sort of how I keep it together. I mean, you would say, "Oh man, you have 3 accounts. That's even more confusing." But no, I kind of know
Good.
how to deal with it, and mainly I just stay on my personal, I'd say, personal account. So
Hmm. Well, that's good. I
yeah,
mean, if you have the discipline to sort of regulate and manage your use of Instagram, I think it's fine,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
honestly. But I think it's people are rarely able to do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you can do it, that's awesome, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, I don't want to say I always have it. Like sometimes, the moment you wanted to just check that message, then you get to the
Mm.
start page, and then you just start looking through, and you're like, wait a minute, like 10 minutes went by, and you're already like, what the
Hmm.
hell? So that it still happens, and I'm still like very much considering whether I just am gonna deactivate it or just get rid of the big account as of like maybe in a while. But
Hmm.
for now, I'm trying to see this like middle way where I can like sort of see if I can cope with it. Um, and so far, it's been okay actually.
Mm.
I've really kept away from scrolling through things. I haven't really looked at stories all that much. Like I don't really do that anymore. And if there's anything I do, it's very pointed. Like I want to write this person for this because I only have them on Instagram. Like that's the sort of
Mm.
use right now, at least in my direct messages.
Mm.
So that's good. I don't post any stories. I don't post any posts
Mm.
from my side. Um, and yeah, I just keep it very purposeful.
Good.
So
That's cool. I mean, I noticed when I re-downloaded it for a week that the content people post, I just really don't care about. The
yeah, yeah,
stories, it's like I looked. I remember I used to go through all the stories that people would post, but I just started going through them again, and I just thought, not only do I don't care, but it's just not interesting. It's just
yeah.
like, why am I wasting my time with this? And I also looked at the posts people were uploading, and I thought, I don't care. I just really don't care. And it sounds super mean, but I also question, do others also do others actually care? Because I in some way I really doubt it. But why would they? Well, I don't know. What do you think?
Oh yeah, that's an interesting question. Whether actually others care about that. Mm, okay, I think they do and they don't. I think it's strange. In a way, they must have sort of made themselves believe that they care. Like in giving their likes and stuff to other people, they sort of like, affirm them or whatever in their pictures and stuff like that. But I think like deep down, I think like really like there's no inherent caring involved in liking. Like that's not and also like liking stuff that's not a very like if you just think about the human aspect of things, that's not a very human thing to do. Like, if you give someone a hug or a kiss or a smile, right? Like that's a very human interaction and it's also like personal. Whereas liking is just so really like unlike us. Like it's really not, it's like a new, right? It's like a new, almost like a new action or a new thing one can do. And I think on that level they care, as in like, they like the picture or whatever, or they just want to make their friends feel good about what they posted. But I think truly, I don't think that caring goes into that. I think it's just like it's a very base affirmation, and also I think what's involved in it is a reciprocal affirmation, because you always want, it's always follow for follow, right? Like for like. So it's not only that you like their picture because you want to affirm what they posted, you really don't care, but it's also that you, and why you would care is that they maybe like you back or like follow you back. So it's this whole thing of like using each other, because it's like,
Yeah.
I like you, so you're gonna like me, and otherwise as well. So you'll do the same back. So there's no yeah.
I remember that. It's cool you pointed that out. I remembered whilst I still had Instagram, I would feel the need to like other people's pictures and actually go through my whole feed until like the last picture I saw the last time I was on the app, in order to like all the pictures so they would sort of like mine back. It was kind of like
Yeah,
a non-written contract, which is so unhealthy. I think
yeah,
it's
it's
whack.
really bad. No,
Yeah.
it's just it's horrible. It's horrible, but it's not that the other thing. It's really not just a like a one-off thing that's like, oh, why did I just like that, whatever, like, and then maybe you think about it and you don't want to do it anymore. But I think if you do it so many times, like I have friends where it's like a compulsion. They just open up their Instagram and they start tapping and tapping and tapping. Like it's not, I feel like we've even lost control, and it sort of becomes like a habit for us to do these, like as you said, like an unwritten contract or law, right? You're like, I'm gonna like all of these, so they like all my stuff, and like, oh, they saw this but didn't like it, like, and then we even spend like minutes of our day thinking about, likes on Instagram, which is like, if you close the app and just put your phone away, you're like, okay, what's real? Like the tree's real, like, my family's real, my studies are real, like my goals in life, like that's all real. That app is just not. So
Mm.
I feel like that's why I sort of, you see why I pinpointed the people that I've actually met. Like that was sort of my real decision. I was like, okay, at least who I've met, like
Mm.
actually, like, and that I know by name and by face, not just like some far off like person that I I know because I know some of the friends. Like not, that's not
Mm.
that's not enough.
Mm.
So
Mm. And I think, yeah, so you kind of made Instagram as real as it could be, or try
yeah,
to
which
just,
it's not real. Yeah, of course, of course, of
well,
course.
I mean, like, I understand. I also eventually unfollowed all the celebrities and
Yeah,
these
that's
people who I've never met because I just didn't really care about them.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
also talking about this like for like thing, it's also I would get not upset but irritated if somebody would
Absolutely.
unfollow
Yeah.
me. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody I had an app that would check my following, how do you say, activity, if people would follow or unfollow me. And there was one category that was of people I follow but don't follow me back. And
Mm-hmm.
if a new person would pop into that category who had unfollowed me, I'd get really like irritated by it. I'd be like, why? If it was a friend or something, or a friend of a friend, I'd be like, why the hell have you unfollowed me? How dare you? And get really irritated when it's so unnecessary. It's just so irrelevant. And Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to do that.
No, absolutely. Don't ever do that. That's another thing. Like, I also got, like, just speaking of those apps and stuff that you get, that's the other crazy thing, because okay, let's just transpose that for a little bit. If you have, like, uh you have Microsoft Word, all right? Like, that's part of the Microsoft Office. Now, you maybe have things that you wanna do with Word that require other parts of the Microsoft Office or whatever, right? Like, that's where there's other apps, right? So all these apps have like some sort of like interlinked functionality. Now, just think about Instagram. Once you start with Instagram, um, there's all these apps like related to it, which sort of like all serve it for these like just obscure and stupid purposes, like, getting more followers or something like that. Those, like, you pay to get followers, or the ones you mentioned that tell you your activity and stuff like that. So basically, the apps on your phone and the time you spend on Instagram in your life is just growing, like, and that's all not real. Like, it really isn't. And so that tells you, like, oh man, that's like sick. Like, 'cause I can relate. I had that app, the one like really at the beginning when I was like 14, 15. I had that one app that not only tells you what's going on, but you can like create all these, like, I don't even know how it worked, but it would give you like the followers. If you followed people, it would give you like automatic followers or something. It's just like insane. Like, if you think about it now, but back then that was just, and that's also fair. To be fair, that's what we were like. I mean, I was seeing other people do that, so that's what, like, it's also a context thing, because your peers do it, so why shouldn't you? And obviously you didn't reflect about it as much, because otherwise you wouldn't have done it. But yeah, it's just,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah, it's those apps where you can follow 30 people and then you get 30 followers
yeah,
in
that's what I meant.
return,
That's what I meant. Yeah,
those
it's just,
types.
it's really just a mess.
It's just, I feel like one can wrap it up. It's Instagram is kind of a thing that you just, on top of the difficulty in life, you really don't need this add-on.
No, you
This sort of
don't. You
extra,
don't.
you just really don't need it. That's really it.
No, you really don't. Like, it create it. Yeah, that's a good way to wrap it up. Instagram is not a blessing, it's a burden, and Instagram is not, it's about the most anti-social thing you can do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for real. It-
so
yeah, totally.
that
And it's,
that
yeah,
that would be my thing to say to Instagram. Yeah.
cool. Uh, I've got another question. I mean, this is a bit of a, well, yeah, let's go with this question. What kind
Yeah,
of
go
a
ahead.
man do you want to be for your family, friends, and community in life?